Thanks for your company. The details now. At least 4 more people have been killed in fresh attacks in Boku in the Upper East region. 2 people are said to have been wounded and receiving treatment in the hospital. The shootings occurred this dawn at a suburb widely believed to be inhabited by people who do not belong to any of the factions involved in the chieftaincy dispute. Our man on the ground, Albert Sorry, has been monitoring and gathering information for us. Albert, what more do we know about this incident?
Yes, Bernice. So what we know is that the recent shootings occurred in the early hours of today between 4 and 5 a.m.
Hello, Albert.
And as you said, they are a suburb of Boku, actually, that have residents who do not belong to any of the factions that are involved in the chieftaincy dispute. The persons who have been killed, we are told, include a man and his 2 children, and then his mother. So these are people that belong to the same family. Multiple reports from the area indicate that these are people who are of Bisa descent. They are neither Kusasi or Mampusi people. It is unclear why they were targeted in this attack. 2 other persons have been injured, but there could even be more because the reports that we are getting are from multiple sources. The police this morning have confirmed that the shootings did occur and some deaths have actually also occurred. But the divisional commander for Boku, Adamu Seidu, did not want to comment any further, even though he confirmed that deaths have taken place. Now, what he's telling us is that it is not his duty to speak to the media, and that it is the regional police PRO's duty to speak to us. The PRO is also saying that he does not have information to give us at this moment.
Right.
We are learning that the deaths could actually be up to 6 people, but what we can say for sure is that there are 4 at the moment, plus 2 people, and possibly more people may have been injured or even killed.
Well, what's the mood like in the area?
Yeah, so on the 17th, there were shootings in which people were killed. 6 people were told. It looked as though the security had managed to calm the situation down and peace was returning, especially as we get to the Christmas period and also as we head towards the Samampid Festival, which will be celebrated between the 28th and the 30th of December. It looked as though things were getting calm and the curfew had returned to what it used to be between 8 p.m. and 5 a.m. But yesterday's shootings obviously will get people worried again because it looks like the calm had not returned after all. So people are apprehensive. Some people have stayed indoors because there are fears that there could be more shootings today and tomorrow. But we know that security have been on the ground. We have even had reports that in the last few days, the military actually picked some people up. But the challenge is that when it comes to Boku, we do not know why the police and the security refuse to give information. That is the challenge. Right. But there are so many reports that are coming, even about arrests, even about disagreements here and there. And the fact that people are worried that there could be more shootings. But the security, especially with the police, they refuse to give information.
Right, Albert, we'll leave it here. Albert Sorry is our man in the Upper East region, giving us the latest on the Boku disturbances. Away from that, former secretary of the defunct Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining, Charles Bisu, has dragged the special prosecutor to the High Court. This is in a bid to halt ongoing bribery investigations involving him. Mr. Bisu had been captured in an investigative documentary produced by Anas Arimeo Anas, allegedly receiving bribes. He dismisses this allegation, insisting he will be exonerated. Court correspondent Joseph Akablay joins me via Zoom with more. What is Mr. Bisu seeking from the courts, Joseph?
He's asking the court to restrain the special prosecutor himself or any other official who, acting on the instructions of the special prosecutor, carries out any investigations that involves Mr. Bisu, and the subject matter being the Galamsey fraud documentary that was put out by the investigative journalist, Anas Anas.
And does he cite any reasons why he doesn't want the special prosecutor or his office to be involved in this?
We understand he has some concerns about the procedure that is being used.
Right.
But we have been checking with our sources at the Office of a Special Prosecutor about the work that has been done so far. And we understand that when Mr. Kisejabin took over as Special Prosecutor, he continued with the investigation that had been started by the former Special Prosecutor, Martin Amidu. We are told that he virtually concluded our investigation and was set to file charges against Mr. Bisu in court this week, and that he had attempted to engage him to inform him of where the investigations had reached, at which point he was told Mr. Bisu was unavailable, only to be hit by this legal action on Friday.
Finally, Joseph, we understand that there are others joined to the suit. Who are they?
Anas is joined, is named as a defendant in this particular action. He produced the documentary Galamsey Fraud. There's also the Tiger Eye Private Investigation, which is an investigative firm that was set up by Anas. And so they are joined together with the Special Prosecutor, Kisejabin, as the three defendants in this particular legal action.
Joseph Akable is our court correspondent, furnishing us with details on this latest involving Charles Bisu. Away from that, the Finance Ministry has for the 6th consecutive time topped the list as the most fiscally reckless institution among the ministry's departments and agencies. This was contained in Imani's latest Fiscal Reckless Index. The index cited tax and cash irregularities as the drivers for the fiscal recklessness score. The Ministry of Health was ranked as the second most fiscal reckless institution. There's more in this News Desk report.
According to the Imani Fiscal Reckless Index, the Ministry of Finance has topped the list as the most financially reckless institution among the ministries, departments and agencies since 2015 and 2020. It cited tax and cash irregularities as the factors dragging the ministry's fiscal recklessness. It explained that the ministry is responsible for 99.63%, representing 9.10 billion of the combined 9.12 billion tax irregularities between the period under review. The Finance Ministry also accounted for 80.10%, representing 2.35 billion cedis of the combined 2.93 billion cash irregularities from 2015 to 2020. The index indicates that this trend has remained the same on a normalized data basis. Over the period from 2015 to 2020, a total of 13.9 billion cedis in financial irregularities covering stores and procurement, cash, tax, payroll, rent, and contract irregularities were recorded. Imani has recommended that the Auditor General applies the disallowance and surcharge powers given it under the country's laws. The Attorney General should further enforce punitive measures against persons or individuals found to have committed such irregularities.
Now, economist and finance lecturer Professor Godfred Bokpin says banks operating in Ghana have rejected the original terms of the debt exchange program. According to him, the banks have made counter proposals to government that analyzes the impact of the proposed debt exchange on their balance sheets. Speaking on Joy FM, Professor Bokpin said the banks have indicated that even without debt restructuring, the mark-to-market valuation policy has resulted in explicit losses on their books.
Already, the banks, we've seen a strong pushback from the banks. The banks practically have rejected the original terms of the debt exchange. We are told that they've made a counter proposal. The banks have also analyzed the impact of the proposed debt exchange on their balance sheet. The banks have indicated that even without debt restructuring, mark-to-market of government financial instruments on their books is manifesting explicitly in losses. Okay, so there is already a pushback from the banks. Whilst it is good news to organized labor, what happened yesterday, it makes the road a little harder for government in our journey to restore debt sustainability. One thing that we should know, given the level of instability and the mess we have created, you will see clearly that 3 years is not enough for Ghana to restore debt sustainability. And the reason I'm saying so what it means is that debt sustainability is actually beyond an IMF program now.
Now, the banks, according to the Central Securities Depository Monthly Bulletin, hold chunk of government bonds to the tune of about 40 billion cedis. Professor Boku also said the 3% cut in the capital adequacy ratio will not be enough to cushion the banks against shocks.
And then also under Basel II and scaling up, some particularly local banks may be required to bring additional capital. We have seen, and as we had indicated, that Bank of Ghana probably would cut away 3% of the capital capitalization buffer, essentially reducing the capital adequacy ratio to 10% in order to accommodate them. But that would still not be enough. Okay, so the point that we had raised earlier, government is now coming back to the reality that the whole strategy that the government adopted in this debt restructuring was poor, and that it was going to get a serious pushback. So from where we sit, a certain level of debt restructuring is unavoidable. And it will still require all relevant stakeholders to come to the restructuring table. But more importantly, government being transparent, full disclosure, the extent of the problem, the various scenarios, and then so we can have some kind of compromise going forward.
This is the Joy Newsroom. To some politics now. Newly elected national chairman of the National Democratic Congress, the NDC, Johnson Esiedun Ketia, says he will also need the support of chiefs to be successful and get Ghana out of what he describes as domestic imperialism. Speaking during a courtesy call on Domahini Osajefo Osiadio Bethlehem II at Doma, he also said losers in the party's internal elections must join them in unity for the battle ahead. Precious Semevo has more.
The new national chairman of the NDC, Johnson Esiedun Ketia, was accompanied to the palace of Domahini Osajefo Osiadio Bethlehem II by his wife, some NDC members of parliament, and regional and district executives of the party on Friday. The chief, in his address, expressed his delight to have chairmen of both NDC and MPP as natives of the Bono region. Domahini explained why, as a chief, he publicly supports Bono royals vying for political positions without infringing on any law. It has been said that chiefs are not to be involved in politics, right? It is not true. I'm the only one who can speak to this issue. It is not written anywhere in law that chiefs can't do politics. Rather, chiefs are not to do active partisan politics, meaning a chief cannot mount a political platform and canvass for votes for MPP, NDC, or CPP. But can't a chief pray and support his royals contesting a political office? With the election of national officers for the major parties done, he had this advice for the Electoral Commission. I am appealing to the Electoral Commissioner. There is a bit of tension on the ground towards the next election. They should be diligent in their work and not allow themselves to be compromised. If you get these, there is no fear, as one party will go down. But no one will accept defeat without fairness. In the Fourth Republic, MPP and NDC have won 4 times each. The next election is the penalty to separate them. And if the commissioner does a good job, regardless of which party wins, the chairman will be from Bono region. National chairman, NDC national chairman Esiedun Ketia, on his part, said Ghana is under local colonialism and he requires the support of all, including chiefs, to redeem the country.
Ede mawa eche se ya de so akese yenim se adwuma ekon eda wanim no wa na obetimi aye me so me nko ame ya enye yie gisempa no ede to aso.
You win an election when people have confidence in you, but I can't do it alone. I would need prayers, wisdom, and the humbleness of all, including advising those who lost in the national elections to join us in unity to win the battle ahead. I believe with the support of the chiefs, what Kwame Nkrumah and co did to gain freedom from the colonial powers, now we are slaves under our people. We defeated foreign domination, and it's left with domestic imperialism so that we can have our freedom back and the country on the right path.
Foreign domination, you defeat aka domestic imperialism. And no na kase, and no so yebetimi akon ne agye ho afri mu na yama oman no asi ne kwan so.
Precious Semevo, Joy News, Domahinkro.
Now, rice farmers in Birim number 1 in the Ahafo South District of the Ashanti region are resisting attempts by illegal miners to ravage their over 300-acre farmlands. But their resolve to push out the miners and save Ghana some local rice seeds appears bleak. A mini dam serving as an irrigation source to their farms is now polluted with heavy illegal mining slurry impacting adversely on their farm produce. Emmanuel Bright-Kwelku visited the farming community and has come through with this report.
A huge illegal mining pit is dug in the middle of a 300-acre rice plantation catered by over 80 farmers at Birim number 1. The illegal mining activity is happening right behind the home of the Member of Parliament for Ahafo South constituency. Unprovoked by the devastations caused, the illegal miners continue to invade other parts of the rice farms. Mahama Moro and his colleagues have been working on the farmland for over 22 years.
Solar panel, solar and twins who made good has so. Then you know, much to go, my boy, or Galatian for a bomb, come and hope assassin so, and yet I be a heck. I say, I buy, I say, so am I a Juma from the year 2000. So until we had done this, we will cry. I'm going to see down my head. I'm calling I was at 2. Galam say, I see for say, Galam say, if a music and to me sit down. A mona at the moment, I feel be at the moment, intimacy, and to one palm left for some moment.
Residents of Birim number 1 are well known for their involvement in both rice and maize farming, positioned as the second largest rice production hub in the Ashanti region. The farmers here grow a variety of local rice seeds. They depend heavily on the Birim stream running through their plantations for farming activities.
This mini dam was constructed under the SY4 administration. That is according to the farmers over here. It was constructed for irrigation purposes. But unfortunately, the crystal clear water has turned into a milky brown sludge.
The highly polluted water has forced the farmers to shut down the irrigation canal distributing water across their farms. Maize and paddy rice plants along the stream are dying out as a result.
President Vice President Baumia Obedi, President Speaker of Parliament Bembabe Okahon, MPs, Assemblyman Committee for will be a bedi munibi. And so Nipa says Ghana, you are not doing it to go. Okoka, Omse ya pepe for.
The government's efforts of making the country self-sufficient in rice producing is now threatened as production on the farmlands are depreciating.
Then I say you don't 2 times. And I'm saying soon say na say Tamale soon to rain season I don't know say yentimin no bill. She said next year. And you bet me as I do if we be ama a more stock was yenya.
Mitimi twa mo no almost be 120 bars. This year, Galamsey for no buy no. Mo am twa nyina 18 bars. 18 bars me so makogi bosia wa amano bank. As you see interest a dem anim no. Enya asem koto wo be 100 million. Isi am fa kwa be so na akutuaka. Amo no de me twa metimi nya bi tua meka na skani bi ayeden aka me botomi nya bi hwa me ma school.
Many of these farmers are currently out of business, but the few ones struggling for water source are resorting to domestic sources to irrigate and apply fertilizer on their farms.
Drone the old body a quite chiricacra. Now, collect ensuya, ya do board drew, almost safe near the board drew a hanum.
These farmers at BMSO number 1 have their source of livelihood on the line as the faceless illegal miners continue to ravage their lands. For Joy News, Emmanuel Bright-Kweku reporting.
Now, Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has promised to leave no stone unturned in a bid to make fire academies and fire officers in Ghana the best among their peers on the African continent. The Vice President made the bold declaration when he commissioned some facilities at the Fire Academy and Training School at Jamestown in Accra. There's more in the following report.
Fire outbreaks, particularly market fires, have caused havoc and destroyed businesses, property, and even death. Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has urged fire officers in the country to remain steadfast and committed to their mandates of saving lives and property. Speaking at the commissioning and handing over of new facilities at the Fire Academy and Training School, the Vice President revealed the vision is to deliver Africa's best fire academy.
Since the coming into office of our government in 2017, the Ghana National Fire Service has been given permission to recruit in excess of 7,000 personnel to augment the manpower strength of the service. 7,000 personnel since 2017. This demonstrates government's efforts of ensuring that the Ghana National Fire Service has adequate personnel to expand its operations to cover all districts of the country.
The facilities include a 600 capacity classroom block, a dining hall, male and female dormitories, and hydraulic platforms. They are expected to train the next generation of firefighters to change the status quo and help fire officers execute their core mandates.
When fires are kept at bay, lives are preserved, and property and investments are also protected. Let us continue to rally our efforts behind His Excellency the President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and the government in order to ensure prosperity for all. Let me also take this opportunity to thank the contractor on these projects, Kabore Construction, for the excellent and timely delivery of these projects.
Alhaji Kabore, who constructed the facility, said he expects authorities at the Fire Academy to make the best out of what he has built.
I built two dormitories, one classroom. The classroom is 3-story building, and then a dining hall. The classroom is at the back. It's 3-story building, and then the dormitories. It will help fire service a lot because now the number of the dormitory and the dining hall, the classroom, will help them do whatever they want to do. At first, I think they have difficulties in the dining hall, dormitory, and a lot. And now, I think that will be the turn of the past. But the most important thing is the maintenance, to keep it. That is the problem.
Let's now go for our editorial with Araba Kumsin.
The National Cathedral and President Akufo-Addo are back in the news. You may have heard the president say people criticizing the National Cathedral are like Sambalat and Tobias.
Thank the Presbyterian Church of Ghana for the support it continues to give for the construction of the National Cathedral. Just like Sanballat and Tobias, in the days of Nehemiah, there are some who do not share my view on the building of the National Cathedral. I respect their right to differ, but I'm confident in my decision by the vast numbers of enthusiastic supporters of this project, whose spiritual dimension is limitless.
Interesting. Let's go to church. Open your Bibles to Nehemiah chapter 4, verses 1. And it reads, when Sanballat heard that we were rebuilding the wall, he became angry and was greatly incensed. He ridiculed the Jews, and in the presence of his associates and the army of Samaria, he said, what are those feeble Jews doing? Will they restore their wall? Will they offer sacrifices? Will they finish in a day? Can they bring the stones back to life from those heaps? Well, to summarize, despite the mockery, Nehemiah built the wall in 52 days around the city of Jerusalem. This is the reason why building a wall was important at that time. One, a city without a wall was open to bandits, gangs, and wild animals, even though the empire might be at peace. Two, building the wall was to protect the Lord's temple, which could easily be burgled because it had rich decorations. So, it was an emergency. The question is, why are we in a hurry to build a national cathedral when we are begging the IMF to salvage the economy, which is already in tatters? Ghanaians are religious and generous. I'm very confident that if they found the National Cathedral project very important, especially in these times, they would gladly donate and not hesitate. First of all, Mr. President, you told us that the cathedral will be built through donations from Christians. Then you told us that the state will provide seed money. An amount of 25 million cedis was donated. Then we realized that the state has donated more than just seed money without parliamentary approval. Now, when the finance minister was queried, he said he took the money from the government contingency fund. Now, contingency means a provision for a possible event or circumstance. So is the finance minister saying that the National Cathedral is a contingency? Mr. President, you serve us. We want the National Cathedral, but not in these times. Currently the nation is broke. We can't pay our debtors. We are talking about a debt exchange program. The minority blocked 80 million cedis voted to the National Cathedral in the 2023 budget. But we know that your government may find ways of funding the project without parliamentary approval, just like what the finance minister did by withdrawing from the contingency fund. Mr. President, why is it so difficult for you to listen to us? Nehemiah fought hard to build the wall because it was necessary to protect the temple of God. In Ghana, we also have an emergency, a very serious emergency. We are poor. We are desperate. We are broke. We need you to fix that problem. So why is our emergency not your priority? We need you to immediately fix the economy and protect us, just like Nehemiah protected the city of Jerusalem. Mr. President, you said building the cathedral will signify an appreciation to God for sparing the country from conflicts and plagues over the years. We indeed are grateful to God for protecting us. Felix Houphouët-Boigny, the first president of Ivory Coast, he built the Basilica of Our Lady of Peace in 1989. But from 2010 to 2011, Ivory Coast had a serious crisis. Over 200 people died. This happened years after the cathedral was built. Why didn't God spare them from that crisis? Mr. President, for once, listen to your people. Chiefs are saying you should suspend the project. Floxag workers say you should suspend the project. Pressure groups Arise Ghana and Justice for Ghana picketed Parliament just this week to demand that the House does not approve an 80 million cedi allocation for the construction of the National Cathedral.
National Cathedral ono na de ba bia ontimi mpopa ne de mfiri wo na samre ne ewom de esoro no yesika futuo no omfa ne san koka National Cathedral no o ma nsi wo na onyere na ho sika se no ntintim ne ye.
In Luke 14:28 to 30, is there anyone here planning to build a new house, in this case a cathedral, who doesn't first sit down to figure the cost so you know if you can complete it? If you only get the foundation laid, and Mr. Speaker, the Bible is so telling. The Bible knew Ghana will have a president called Akufo-Addo. This is what he says. If you only get the foundation laid and then run out of money, you are going to look pretty foolish. Everyone passing by will poke fun at you. He started something he couldn't finish. This is the word of the Lord.
The cathedral, according to the president, he made a personal pledge to the deity he worshipped, God. But what beat us is Akufo-Addo never had the courage to put that in his manifesto or his policy programs. He never did. Justice for Ghana has taken a resolute stand that we don't want anything there to be called a cathedral. We want the whole place to be transformed to its previous state.
So generally, I mean, a cross-section of Ghanaians believe that the timing is not right. The project, there's nothing wrong with it, but the timing is not right. Mr. President, I want to show you this. Watch. That's the National Cathedral. Very, very, very beautiful project, edifice there. Would you rather have this when your children are like this?
A desk. When I saw the story,
let's review our priorities. If Ghana is still practicing democracy, then, Mr. President, you must listen to the voices of the people.
It's a Christmas Eve edition of the Joy Newsroom with me, Bernice Abu-Baidoo Lansah. And as Christians mark the birth of Christ, thousands from all walks of life are on a pilgrimage to Jerusalem in Israel to spend time at various biblical sites. Joy News' Emefa Tamale is one of such pilgrims. She just returned from Israel with tales from the Holy Land. In this first episode, she tells us about Bethlehem, the shepherd's field, and the manger where the Savior of the world was born.
Bethlehem is one of the popular sites pilgrims visit anytime in Israel. It is the same biblical reference illustrating the spectacular but unique events surrounding the birth of Jesus. It is home to the manger where Mary was delivered of Jesus Christ. The shepherd's fields, where the angels appeared to announce the birth of Jesus to the shepherds attending to their sheep, is also located here. Every year, thousands of people across all walks of life make it a point to visit the historic site, relive the story and events surrounding the birth of the Messiah, as well as fellowship, while reviving and affirming their faith in God. A prominent statue of sheep grazing greets first-time visitors upon entering the beautifully maintained yard where angels appeared in a dazzling glory to break the news of Jesus' birth to the shepherds.
The shepherds were here more than 2,000 years when the angel appeared to them. And the glory of God of the Lord shone on them and shone on the whole area here. They were very afraid, but the angel told them, don't be afraid, I'm here to tell you the good news. In the city of David, you will go there and find a baby. He has born to you, and he will be a great joy for all of the people in the whole world. He is the Messiah, and he is the Savior. And here is a sign for you. You will find the baby wrapped in clothes and lying in a manger. And guys, here are some caves here used by the shepherds in that time.
Around the field are the remnants of several caves where the shepherds were believed would go always to take refuge at night and to keep warm while taking care of their sheep in winter.
And usually they were here in winter to keep themselves. And also they used to use this for themselves and for their flocks also. And you can see the ceiling here is black. It's because of the fire to get warm in winter. And right there you can see some rooms excavated in the
Till present day, the site is well maintained, perhaps for the thousands of tourists drawn to it on daily basis. A number of the caves are deeply buried underground, and one could possibly only imagine the depth and current state.
This is the Nativity Church.
The Church of Nativity houses the sacred manger found in the inn, as the Bible puts it. The huge and strong church is an ancient edifice made of marble and huge stones. A rather tiny and short gate leads pilgrims to the manger found at the heart of the Church of Nativity. According to history, it was kept that way to ensure that everyone entering naturally bows in reverence and in worship to the Messiah who was born there. Our tour guide, Johnny, tells us more.
In 313, Milan decree was issued by Constantine, the emperor, the Roman emperor, which allows everyone to worship his own God. And in 324, his mother, Saint Helena, who was Christian, came here to the Holy Lands, searching for 3 caves. The cave where Jesus taught his disciples the Lord's Prayer, and the cave where Jesus was buried, and the cave where Jesus was born. When she came here to Bethlehem, it was easy for her to find the place and the cave where Jesus was born, and thanks to Hadrian, because he marked us the place here when he put that statue over the grotto. So she destroyed that temple, pagan temple, and built this church. Okay, but this church was burnt out by the Samaritans in 529. And rebuilt by Justinus, the Byzantine emperor. He was in Constantinople. And you can see from here the small door of the Nativity Church. It is one of 3 doors lasted from Justinus' time. And you can see the top outline of it up there.
It is also one of the highly patronized sites all year round. Today, as pilgrim, I joined scores in queue to have a glimpse of the place where the Savior of the world was born 2,000 years ago. Johnny says it will take us nothing less than 2 hours to make it through the queue, through to the manger. And so it was. The manger, as the name suggests, is a very small space which can accommodate probably just 1 kitchen stool. Visitors scrambled and jostled against each other just to make it quickly through after the long hours of being in queue. First, to step in there. Second, touch the beautifully tiled floor. And third, to make a memory of their visit to the holy spot. It was quite an experience. Very emotional and spiritual for most pilgrims. My name is Amofa Ewenam Atiamwa Eli for Joy News, Bethlehem.
Really beautifully told story. Let's stay a while on Christmas. It's a season of love, gift sharing and merrymaking. And it's not complete without the lights and sparkles of the Christmas tree. Guess what? A young Ghanaian gentleman, Makafui Awuku, is solving part of Ghana's plastic waste problems by turning plastic bottles into Christmas trees. Makafui says the passion to save the environment is his motivation. There's more in the following report.
Christmas is a season of gift giving. It is a time many people decorate their houses with lights, and at the center of it all, erect Christmas trees. Christmas trees are elegantly decorated. The trees signify the evergreen life brought to humanity through the birth of Christ. That's not all, because some people also use the Christmas tree as a haven for hiding their Christmas gifts. Makafui Awuku, CEO of Macintosh Africa, has been using plastic bottles to create Christmas trees. He explains the motivation behind his innovation.
Water, these are and then climate action. These were the goals that appealed to me. Then I thought plastic pollution is a big problem in Ghana. Over the years, even though we've been doing a lot more, but we've not been able to actually create sustainable solutions to solve the problem. It was 2 months before Christmas. I was like, how about if I try a Christmas tree from bottles? So I did a sketch. I was working from somewhere. I was packing the bottles from the office, and then I got a welder to do a frame for me in the form of a tree. And then I went to investigate to find out what I can use to perforate holes in the bottles. I did a few experiments. I figured it out. And then I started weaving. In the morning before I go to work, I weave a bit. In the evening when I come back from work, I weave again. A day before Christmas, I had finished the tree. And then I went to Medina Market to buy lighting, to buy decor. And then I put it up. And then I put it in front of my house. I was living in a compound house in Medina Market. Then I decided to go from house to house to just invite the people from homes to come and experience the tree.
Currently, the foundation relies on the benevolence of volunteers for its work. Maud Ewenam Fuga manages volunteers at Macintosh Africa. She said her organization carefully selected students from various backgrounds who have a strong passion to save the climate and brought them together for this project.
We have quite a number of people. We are well over 200 on our WhatsApp platform. Yes. And we have our people based in and out of Accra. So we have people that are based in, even one of the volunteers here is coming from the eastern region. We have people that are based in Accra, Kumasi, whichever regions. So actually they will be coming today. It's just that we are not a lot this morning, but they'll come. And we have well over 30, 40 that actually weave one tree in a day. So
with assistance from volunteers, the foundation collects bottles from the streets, homes, hotels, and other public places. Edward Nyakwanoche is one excited volunteer who brings used plastic occasionally to help implement the plastic Christmas tree project.
When this company came around here, I came to consult them, and they told me their aim and their aspiration of making sure that the country is clean. So I started bringing the bottles here.
Maud then took us through the beautiful and creative process of weaving these bottles into this Christmas tree.
we actually do some beach cleanups with organizations like Plastic Punch. Sometimes too, it's our whole initiative or soul project where we go to some of the beaches like Mighty Beach and Nungwa to rescue and then to recover the plastic. So we do the sorting, and then that is where we now do the perforation of the bottles, and then we do the weaving of the tree. The tree, we sometimes use just 6 to 8 hours to leave a tree. Yes, maximum 20 to 30 people. We are good.
These trees beautify homes and offices and lit up the streets of Accra, but they are not cheap.
Because we are a startup and then we are creating innovations, we receive incubation and acceleration support from the UNDP here in Ghana, and then also through a World Bank and Netherlands government program called Ghana Climate Innovation Center that used to be at Ashase University. So this has helped us to be able to fine-tune our ideas, receive business and leadership training, and then assess on proof of concept grants to continue to work on the project.
To make work more comfortable while cutting down cost, McCaffrey re-engineered his home into an office, which housed his workshops for shredding, manufacturing metal frames, and the weaving process. Apart from Christmas trees, McCaffrey also uses these plastics to manufacture shopping bags, mats, sandals, and other different artifacts.
So these are just colored plastic waste bags. You can see the green and the black. And this one is predominantly pure water sachet bags that have been used to make this footwear.
According to the World Economic Forum, Ghana produces over 840,000 tons of plastic waste every year, but only 9.5% are recycled. Every year, over 8 million tons of plastics are dumped into the ocean. So as you drink, do not drop the plastics around, because there are fears that by 2050, there will be more plastics in the ocean than fish. People like McCaffrey are determined to be innovative by turning plastic waste into creative, beautiful pieces and saving the environment. What are you doing to save the environment? James Kwesi Aveji's report for Joy News.
Now, in many communities, Christmas has been commercialized with a focus on bright lights, merrymaking, and gift sharing. Lava Film's Nana Boache Dankwayadom gauged the Christmas fever in some rural areas of the Ashanti region. Here's his report.
It's a joyful month of making merry as several communities prepare ahead of the Yuletide. Rural areas are of no exemption. Today we took to the streets of several rural areas and engaged them on how they are preparing towards the Christmas festivity.
As a community,
you can see that as a community, we are fully prepared. We have made arrangements to bring back community members overseas. Our festival begins today, and we have several artists passing through.
Float also back also and I and Kumau in Betumpasa, Alpha Kumau and a mountain in Aso. Kumau, yes, but this Eba Easter, a Kwau, Nemo Brunia, Kumau Ankasa, Aha, and the Bruno, Sana Asana Etie.
No Krenia, me and Nimuni, a fee Bruniano.
Looking at the arrangements made by our chief so far, I am sure this Christmas would be very exceptional.
Dia grobe breo krom ha no kurani afie we bro nyande no kurani nya grokra eti bompa ye se sunsusu ye pa omo susu amakuroi no ni nyina bekoso na ye kra behwe.
This is Dadiase, a community in the Secretary Kumau District Assembly, and for this festivity we are doing several programs in this community. We have a gala, as we see, it's ongoing on, a community gala, which comprises of the various communities around and also groups in the community. So we are starting today. In the morning, we had a health screening exercise, which came on in the morning. And we are doing the gala. It's a 3-day gala program. For tomorrow in the morning, we'll be having a cleanup exercise in the entire community. So we want to bring unity into the community. And also, you see, during a festivity like this, all peoples around our place who are from this town comes around. So we just want to entertain everybody coming home for the Christmas festivity and want it to be a remarkable one. Every December, everyone will like to come to the hometown. So that's basically what we are doing here for this Christmas festivity.
The organizers decided that we want to entertain our community. Therefore, we've put in up some measures in order for us to have a fair play and then a nice game for the community, so that it will engage the youth, so that they won't go out and then do some things that are not good for the community. And for that matter, we have decided to organize this tournament for them. Sometimes during Christmas time, some people go out and then do a lot of things. So we decided to organize it during Xmas time so that it will engage them. We will have much of their times. And then many times during Christmas, people travel outside. Let's say from here to Kumasi and and some places or so. So we decided to organize this tournament for them to engage them so that they will be also happy in the community. We've organized a Masedakese program, which will be taking place on Sunday.
And before we go, some drivers in the Tamale metropolis have complained bitterly about how some pedestrians carelessly use the highways. They say this contributes largely to road accidents in the area. They disclosed this when the Northern Regional Youth Parliament under the Northern Regional Youth Authority collaborated with the Road Safety Authority in the region to educate motorists to help fight road accidents this Christmas. Northern Region recorded 121 separate road crashes between January and August this year, as 50 people lost their lives while about 240 were injured. Abubakar Al-Hassan Bawa, Baba Musa and Al-Hassan Yakubu have been speaking to Adam News.
We are here to sensitize the yellow drivers on road safety or road traffic regulations. You know, we've been recording a lot of road traffic accidents, and we thought that these people need to be sensitized to know how to apply our rules. They take passengers. If they don't know the road traffic regulations, they put their lives and the lives of the passengers in danger. That's why we decided to engage them, so that we let them understand that the passengers are their source of income. So if they put their life in danger or if they harm them, they'll not be able to do what? Get their daily needs. So that's what we are here this morning to do. Particularly every festive seasons, people are traveling, and these transport operators are in a hurry because they always want to rush and come back and pick more passengers to make more money. That's why we are recording a lot of accidents during this period. So we came today to tell them, in fact the exercise has been going on since 1st of December. So we came to let them understand that if you are in a hurry, you lose your daily income or your source of income, because the passengers gives you the income. So if you don't make sure their lives are safety, they arrive safely and come back, you are not likely to get them the next day to pick them and get something out of them.
We bumped into a security man, in fact, to be precise, a policeman who was riding a motorbike without a crash helmet, without a protective gear. And we're questioning him whether he was giving support to the efforts we are trying to make, or we are making in making the people realize the need for them to play it safe out there.
That's how we end this edition of the Joy Newsroom with me, Bernice Abu-Baidoo Lansah. Remember to stay safe this season. A Merry Christmas to you. Do log on to myjoyonline.com for more news. Good afternoon.